1928 to 1937, Chinese Civil War, 2 million deaths. 1931, Japanese Manchurian War, 1.1 million deaths. 1932 to 1933, Soviet Union vs. Ukraine, 10 million deaths. 1932, La Matanza in El Salvador, 30,000 deaths. 1932 to 1935, Guerra del Chaco between Bolivia and Paraguay, 117,000 deaths. 1934, Mao's Long March, 170,000 deaths. 1936, Italy's invasion of Ethiopia, 200,000 deaths. 1936 to 1937, Stalin's purges, 13 million deaths. 1936, Spanish Civil War, 600,000 deaths. 1937 to 1945, Japanese invasion of China, 500,000 deaths. 1939 to 1945, World War II, 55 million deaths. 1946 to 1949, Chinese Civil War, 1.2 million deaths. 1946 to 1949, Greek Civil War, 50,000 deaths. 1946 to 1954, France-Vietnam War, 600,000 deaths. 1947, Partition of India and Pakistan, 1 million deaths. 1947, Taiwan's uprising against the Kuomintang, 30,000 deaths. 1948 to 1958, Colombian Civil War, 250,000 deaths. 1948 to 1973, Arab-Israeli Wars, 70,000 deaths. 1949, Indian Muslims vs. Hindus, 20,000 deaths. 1949 to 1950, Mainland China vs. Tibet, 1.2 million deaths. 1950 to 1953, Korean War, 3 million deaths. 1952 to 1959, Kenya's Momo insurrection, 20,000 deaths. 1954 to 1962, French-Algerian War, 368,000 deaths. 1958 to 1961, Mao's Great Leap Forward, 38 million deaths. 1960 to 1990, South Africa vs. Africa National Congress, unknown death toll. 1960 to 1996, Guatemala's Civil War, 200,000 deaths. 1961 to 1998, Indonesia vs. West Papua, Irian, 100,000 deaths. 1961 to 2003, Kurds vs. Iraq, 180,000 deaths. 1962 to 1975, Mozambique Frelimo vs. Portugal, 10,000 deaths. 1962 to 1975, Angolan FNLA and MPLA vs. Portugal, 50,000 deaths. 1964 to 1973, USA-Vietnam War, 3 million deaths. 1965 to 1966, Indonesian Civil War, 250 million deaths. 1966 to 1969, Mao's Cultural Revolution, 11 million deaths. 1966, Colombia's Civil War, 31,000 deaths. 1967 to 1970, Nigeria-Biafra Civil War, 800,000 deaths. 1968 to 1980, Rhodesia's Civil War, unknown death toll. 1969, Philippines vs. the Communist Bagong Hukbong-Bayan/New People's Army, 40,000 deaths. 1969 to 1979, Idi Amin, Uganda, 300,000 deaths. 1969 to 1902, IRA, Northern Ireland Civil War, 3,000 deaths. 1969 to 1979, Francisco Macias Nima, Equatorial Guinea, 50,000 deaths. 1971, Pakistan-Bangladesh Civil War, 500,000 deaths. 1972 to 2014, Philippines vs. Muslim separatists, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, etc., 150,000 deaths. 1972, Burundi Civil War, 300,000 deaths. 1972 to 1979, Rhodesia/Zimbabwe's Civil War, 30,000 deaths. 1974 to 1991, Ethiopian Civil War, 1 million deaths. 1975 to 1978, Mengistu, Ethiopia, 1.5 million deaths. 1975 to 1979, Khmer Rouge, Cambodia, 1.7 million deaths. 1975 to 1989, Boat People, Vietnam, 250,000 deaths. 1975 to 1987, Civil War in Lebanon, 130,000 deaths. 1975 to 1987, Laos Civil War, 184,000 deaths. 1975 to 2002, Angolan Civil War, 500,000 deaths. 1976 to 1983, Argentina's military regime, 20,000 deaths. 1976 to 1993, Mozambique's Civil War, 900,000 deaths. 1976 to 1998, Indonesia East Timor Civil War, 600,000 deaths. 1976 to 2005, Indonesia ASEAN Civil War, 12,000 deaths. 1977 to 1992, El Salvador's Civil War, 75,000 deaths. 1979, Vietnam-China War, 30,000 deaths. 1979 to 1988, Soviet, Afghanistan, 1.3 million deaths. 1980 to 1988, Iraq-Iran War, 435,000 deaths. 1980 to 1992, Sendero Luminoso, Peru's Civil War, 69,000 deaths. 1984, Kurds vs Turkey, 35,000 deaths. 1981 to 1990, Nicaragua vs Contras, 60,000 deaths. 1982 to 1990, Hissène Habré, Chad, 40,000 deaths. 1983, Sri Lanka's Civil War, 70,000 deaths. 1983 to 2002, Sudanese Civil War, 2 million deaths. 1986, Indian Kashmir's Civil War, 60,000 deaths. 1987, Palestinian Intifada, 4.5 thousand deaths. 1988 to 2001, Afghanistan Civil War, 400,000 deaths. 1988 to 2004, Somalia's Civil War, 550,000 deaths. 1989, Liberian Civil War, 220,000 deaths. 1989, Uganda vs Lord's Resistance Army, 30,000 deaths. 1991, Gulf War, 85,000 deaths. 1991 to 1997, Congo's Civil War, 800,000 deaths. 1991 to 2000, Sierra Leone's Civil War, 200,000 deaths. 1991 to 2009, Russia-Chechnya Civil War, 200,000 deaths. 1991 to 1994, Armenia-Azerbaijan War, 35,000 deaths. 1992 to 1996, Tajikistan's Civil War, 50,000 deaths. 1992, Yugoslavian Wars, 260,000 deaths. 1992 to 1999, Algerian Civil War, 150,000 deaths. 1993 to 1997, Congo-Brazzaville's Civil War, 100,000 deaths. 1993 to 2005, Burundi's Civil War, 200,000 deaths. 1994, Rwanda's Civil War, 900,000 deaths. 1995, Pakistani Sunnis vs. Shiites, 1.3 thousand deaths. 1995, Maoist rebellion in Nepal, 12,000 deaths. 1998, Congo/Zaire's War, Rwanda and Uganda vs Zimbabwe, Angola, and Namibia, 3.8 million deaths. 1998 to 2000, Ethiopia-Eritrea War, 75,000 deaths. 1999, Kosovo's War, NATO vs Serbia, 2,000 deaths. 2001 ongoing, Afghanistan war, opium market seizure by Western oligarchs, USA, European/UK, versus Taliban, 40,000 deaths. 2001, Nigeria versus Boko Haram, 20,000 deaths. 2002, Côte d'Ivoire's civil war, 1,000 deaths. 2003 to 2011, Second Iraq-USA war, USA, UK, 160,000 deaths. 2003 to 2009, Sudan vs. Jem, Darfur, 300,000 deaths. 2004, Sudan vs. SPLM and Eritrea, unknown death toll. 2004, Yemen vs. Houthis, unknown death toll. 2004, Thailand vs. Muslim separatists, 3.7 thousand deaths. 2007, Pakistan vs. Pakistani Taliban, 38,000 deaths. 2011, Iraq's civil war, 150,000 deaths. 2012 ongoing, Syria's civil war, non-Syrian paid mercenaries, 320,000 deaths. Ongoing. 2013-15, South Sudan vs. rebels, 10,000 deaths. 2014 ongoing, Ukraine, US-backed coup, 6,000 plus, ongoing mass grave count. 2015 Saudi Arabia invades Yemen, land and oil grab, death toll unknown. If a good and loving God exists, at what point will He intervene to save the innocent?